man's heart suddenly fails and he gets a pain and he drops. Then they pick him up and take him to the hospital. And the doctor says, you know what, you got to give up smoking. Wallahi, 9 times out of 10, if not 10, he gives it up. Why? One doctor told him that. One doctor. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how many of us are ready today to say this habit is out? There we are. How many? Allahu Akbar. Are we waiting for a little heart attack before we can give up a bad habit? Are we waiting for an angina attack before we can throw something out of the window? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, don't wait for that. I give you good health. But whilst you're in good health, leave that. Allahu Akbar. This is why we say, some people turn away from Allah. They don't want to worship Allah, neither in Ramadan nor outside the month of Ramadan. So what Allah does for them, He gives them a favor. What is that favor? He makes them sick and ill to the degree that the doctors cannot help them. So what do they have to do? They are forced literally to say, Ya Allah, for the first time in their lives, raising their hands and coming salah early, mashallah. That is cheap. Wallahi, cheap meaning we are still fortunate that we haven't died before we raised our hands to Allah. But the question I have, should we wait for something to happen to us before we're going to raise our hands? This is why Allah says, be thankful, be grateful, recognize the devil and know about him before he even comes in your direction, so that you will know how he tries and distract you. Ask those who've committed adultery all their lives, what have they achieved by it? Ask those who have sinned all their lives gambling, what have they achieved by it? Ask those who have sinned all their lives by stealing, cheating, conning, deceiving, by engaging in all sorts of other sins, whether it is drugs and alcohol. What did they achieve by it? They achieved what? Momentary joy. Is that what they got? And now, if Allah has mercy on you, He will grant you a chance to say, Ya Allah, forgive me, never again will I do this. But if not, may Allah protect us all. We fall into the clutches of the devil. What happens? On our deathbeds, when it's too late, we will then be thinking that, Ya Allah, I should have given up this habit and that habit. You know what the Quran says? Those type of people whom they only want to think about it on their deathbeds, Allah says that's too late. Allah says when death comes to such a person, he will say, oh Allah, send me back. I want to do good. Now I know. I'd like to do all the good. Now we know. Allah says, no, you will not do good. It's just a statement coming out of your mouth. You were given the chances. You were given the reminders. The messengers came one after the other. Allah says, we gave you enough. Enough warnings. Like Allah says in the Quran, some people, no matter who tells them, no matter who reminds them, they don't want to be reminded. They don't want to take heed. So Allah says, you can bring whoever you want to talk to them. They won't listen. So much so that Allah says, even if the angels were to be brought in front of them to talk to them live, they wouldn't turn. And over and above that, Allah says, are they waiting for Allah to come down now to talk to them to say, hey, you better turn?